Snowy peaks and open skies, northern winds whisper goodbyes. Dreams take root where the maples grow, a land of promise where rivers flow. Welcome to the north, where the lights shine so bright, chasing every dream beneath the stars tonight. Every step you take, a journey to belong, building futures here where hearts grow strong. Lakes like mirrors, reflecting pride, from the Rockies to the ocean tide. Voices mingle in a tapestry, a world united in harmony. Welcome to the north, where the lights shine so bright, chasing every dream beneath the stars tonight. Every step you take, a journey to belong, building futures here where hearts grow strong. Borders fade as hope
Well, everyone,
ignites.
welcome back to a solo version, a retro version of the Canada Immigration Live Q&A. Those are my followers who watched this little YouTube channel probably about 5 years ago now, maybe 6. Will remember the EE Live Q&A. That was where it all started. Mark would get on here and do the EE Live Q&A. And boy, I have fond memories of those days when it was just me. And boy, have we come a long ways. I am so grateful for all of you that have followed the Canada Immigration or the Canadian Immigration Institute, followed our growth. I haven't looked to see what our followers are on YouTube, but I think we're around 66,000 or something like that subscribers to the channel. And these are not fluff subscribers, right? They're not like people who subscribed after watching one flashy video. These are people who have been with us since the beginning. And oh my goodness, am I appreciative of all that you have done. That's all of you. We have tried to position ourselves as a firm in a way that we can offer the most help. My apologies, it's hard not to get a little emotional. We position ourselves in a way in which we can give the most help to the most people. And one of the ways that we do that is through consultations. And so where many firms just offer advice and direction when you actually hire them, we try to offer value and help and assistance even when you book a consultation, so that you never leave or never come away without a very clear direction on what you should do. And never before in my practice have I ever had such an emotionally difficult experience consulting with you wonderful people. We do everything in our power to try to find ways to make things work for you. And it's kind of nice and almost therapeutic, I guess, in a way, to just go live by myself and just share the thoughts of my heart and just kind of what we're all about. As always, we will get to questions, and I'll get through a ton, you guys. I will. We won't spend a lot of time talking about immigration and all the changes and everything, but we'll touch on a few things. But I just want to let you know how much I appreciate all of you and how much my heart goes out to all of you who are in these extremely difficult circumstances. Personally, I'm very frustrated with our Liberal government. And in all honesty, the Conservative government probably would have done the same thing. But I'm more frustrated because for many of you, they held out an opportunity for you to come, study, work, and stay. And now their message is, thanks for coming, thanks for working, and now go away. And I wish that I was the immigration minister. I don't even really hardly know who our immigration minister is. Theoretically, I guess, in a way, theoretically, we have Minister Diab, but I never see her. She never speaks publicly, hardly at all. She's not nearly upfront and present because these are the dark days of immigration. And when things are not rosy, it's easy to kind of hide in the background. And that's exactly what she's doing. But no, one thing I will tell you guys, that notwithstanding the government's desire to get 1 million people out of the country, or however many it is, we will do everything in our power to give you advice that you can actually trust and rely on. And sometimes that advice is that you should go home. And when I'm in consultations with people, and that's the advice that I have to give, trust me, it is more painful for me than you can imagine. When I see people who have their family here, their children, who are basically acclimatized, who are, for all intents and purposes, Canadianized, who have put all of their resources into making this their long-term home. And when they originally submitted that first study permit application, that was their belief that they would have an opportunity because that is what the government held out. And I remember when I was national chair of the Canadian Bar Association, I had a number of conversations with the immigration ministers, whether it was Marco Mendicino, Sean Fraser. I dropped off the table by the time Mark Miller came around. But I remember those discussions where they said international students are the ones we want most. They're the most ready to settle and contribute and be a part of our country going forward. And now, like I said, thanks for coming. Thanks for working. Now go away. That's the message they're sending. And then we see in the US all this discussion about these $100,000 H-1B visas, right? That the regime down there is starting to institute. And I had an interview with BBC a few days ago. I'm not sure if they actually released the article. Maybe if some of you can find it, you can post it. I'm not sure if they actually did. Because my response was, it's much ado about nothing. I don't know how many H-1Bs they issue, new ones each year, maybe 40,000 or something like that. But in the grand scale of things, it's not a really massive number. They've already been restricting them. And so the question was, well, is this a great opportunity for Canada? Well, how is it a great opportunity for Canada, you guys, if there is not a meaningful way for the people that are here right now to transition to permanent residence? In my interview with CBC's Radio's The House with Ms. Cullen, that was about a week or so ago on the temporary foreign worker program. The biggest issue that I have with all of it is that I feel, one, the federal government should take a back step with respect to economic immigration and give more nominations to the provinces to decide how they want to distribute the people that are coming to Canada. So I would like to see 75% of the total allocation of economic immigration, at least through the high skill, at least through the express entry program, that it be given to the provinces. The P&P number should increase. And 25%, if they want to keep some, they can keep that. And family class and the other special measures and all those kinds of things, refugees, those can all be managed federally. But as far as I'm concerned, the economics should be left to the provinces who know what is best for their provinces. So that didn't make the radio interview with Ms. Cullen, but they did keep most of the discussion, which was quite rare. Usually they take a few sound bites here or there, but the conversation was actually quite lengthy that they left within the radio program. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, go do that. So I have lots of thoughts on the world. I do. And, there are times when I think, Wow, what would it be like if I tried to run for run for maybe to become a member of parliament and maybe one day, try to become the immigration minister? Well, the reality is I love more than anything working with you guys. And the cost to personal life, family, my ability to serve in my church, which just last 2 months, well, it's about 2 months now ago, I was asked to serve as the bishop over our one of our young single adult wards here in Lethbridge, which is a tremendous honor, but it's a lot of work. So you haven't seen me on these lives as much for that exact reason. And so life has become a little bit busier, and we as a firm are a lot more busy with the model that we have, which is consultations and representation in a very unique way of collaborating with you. We love what we do. You can look at our Google reviews, and it attests to the experience that people have when they even book a consult or retain us. But that's the joy that I have practicing. And I truly do love being an immigration lawyer. But these are dark days, and it's hard. Unless, of course, you speak French. And then it is the golden age of the Francophone immigrant. All right. I just wanted to pass that on. And I want to thank all of you for being here. It makes such a big deal to have you here, because without you, there is nothing that, nothing that we will have to talk about without your questions. So go ahead, post your questions. As always, please post where you're tuning in from, and I'll give you a shout out. And we will just zip through these questions and talk about a whole bunch of things. And as questions arise, I may flip the screen over and we might see what the government's take is on things. One thing I love to do is to show you the source of the information. Anyone can go online and just start spewing information, but to actually pull up where the source of it is, well, that's what I think is the most value. Okay, I can hear those comments popping up here in my comment feed. Let's just see. And those who have posted questions, I will make sure that I'm not skipping you. All right. So we've got Indie Gothic Society says hello and thank you for your information. You're very, very welcome. It's so good to have you here. We have Mar from Fort McMurray. Blessed day to all. Thanks, Mar, for joining us. Spider-Man, as usual. Welcome, Spider-Man. Good to have you here. Brandon. Brandon says, you guys should have been here during the COVID situation. This channel is a legitimate help to those serious about wanting to immigrate to Canada. Just applied for my citizenship a few days ago. Brandon, we have been here. We've been here the whole time. The problem is that Mark's not very good at marketing and promoting his channel. We don't pay anything to promote this. We just produce good content and then hope that, AI, that chat or Google will then get this out to the masses. So if people haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. And I guess, what do they say? They say, like and subscribe and share. Tell your friends about it. So Brandon, that really that means a lot that you feel this channel is valuable. But we have been here. In fact, I've been doing live Q&As. If you look at the channel, we've done over 1,000 videos. It's hard to believe. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Brandon says, weather in Lethbridge has been awesome this year as well. It rained most of the summer. I've never seen it as green here in Lethbridge, Brandon, in my entire life. Themby says, thank you, Mark. We appreciate you too. Thank you for helping my family. You are very, very welcome. It's a pleasure. And one thing I tell people when they connect with us, when you retain us, we are like family. And that's how we treat our clients. Job Vergara says, they did. I have just read it and they quoted you. Well, I wonder what BBC quoted me. Maybe you can post that, Job. I'm always curious what they're posting, or what they take of a soundbite from my thoughts. Diljith says, your passion is so evident. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Levant says, hey, Mark from Quebec. Hello. Good to see you. Thanks for connecting in. Let's see what else we have here. Diljith is tuning in from Toronto. Welcome. Great to have you here. Ruel, good morning, Mark from Innisfail, Alberta. Awesome. Got Alberta connection well represented today. Let's see if we have any others. Bohil, good to see you. And we'll post this one from Talipa. Thank you, Mark. Your heart breaks to see us go, and my heart breaks to see you broken down for people who you do not even know. That shows how much you love and care for people. We appreciate you, Mark. Thanks, Talipa. I appreciate that. It's been hard, you guys. I'm not typically an emotional person, but yeah, it's been a rough go. Okay, let's see. OC says, thanks for the emotional speech. You've been a blessing for me for like 6 months joining the live call. Steve from Edmonton. Steve, thanks so much. So much. Yeah, Diljuth says it has organically grown quite a bit. It sure has. And that's all because of you guys. So thank you. Let's see what else we have here. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Let's just address just a couple things. So one thing we do know, you guys, is that immigration has, they've continued to do rounds of invitations. And those rounds of invitations are exactly what they said they were going to do. There's been a tremendous focus on those inside Canada as well as the strategic categories. So you see, finally, we've had a trade occupation draw. That was the last one, 1,250 invitations issued. But I'll be honest, it is absolutely crazy that for trade occupations, it's just amazing when I look at this, that trade occupations still required 505 as the threshold for receiving an ITA. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And when you look at the previous rounds of invitations, if we go back to trades here, you can see that the first one was almost a year ago. So they've only done like 2 trade draws. Well, at least in the modern era here. They did do 2 last year. But this version, and the reason they've called it version 2 is because they updated the occupation list. So the first trade draw of the year took until September 18th to do. That's just amazing to me. And then if we look at the other draws, education, this is one that's still so strange for me that we have education. I think we've had 2 of those ones, haven't we, guys? So May and then September. And that's a sizable portion, 3,500 people. If we continue down, the PNPs are just a trickle. You can see, why are they only issuing 228? Because in this draw, there's only been 228 people with a nomination under one of the express entry streams that would be qualified. So the person here who was eligible got the 600 points plus only 146 CRS points right here. 146 plus the 600. And then, of course, as we go down and we look at French, well, one of the comments I know was posted, so we should focus on French. Yeah, I've been telling people for years now that French, you have to focus on it. So in September, earlier, a big draw. Once again, 4,500. And that is the thing that's driving CRS scores down. So the French draws are large. You can see this massive draw pushed it like earlier this year. Just insane. Just absolutely crazy, the French insanity. You know, I was thinking myself that I should probably learn French. There's lots of, or relearn French. I had my French 30, my high school French, but yeah, I lost it all when I learned Portuguese. But you can see the scores, how low they were at the beginning of the year because they just pumped out tons and tons and tons of French. You know, it's almost to the point where anyone who spoke any French was going to be eligible. So when you think about French and the extra bonus points, 50, almost, I think 74 total points you could get for French. Well, 74 total points means that this individual probably had about 305 points maybe, and they were fluent in French. And yeah, for their CRS. So this is the world that we're in right now, you guys. And it is, it's a crazy world. Okay, let's take a look here. So Diljuice says, have you had any experience recently with H&C PR applications being approved post-judicial review? Is a settlement possible before or after leave is granted? Diljuth, I have not had an opportunity to judicially review. I'll be honest, we are very careful with the types of H&Cs that we file. And in my entire years of practice, I've never had an H&C refused, but that's because I have only submitted applications that I know should be approved. So we don't really submit borderline. Now, with that being said, what once was a slam dunk for an H&C has now become far less so. So we used to say if someone was here for 3 or 4 years and they were now applying for H&C, well, that could be considered establishment. But now people have been here 5 and 6 years with Canadian children, and that may not be sufficient to merit establishment. And we know that our ministers, I wish I could pull up Minister Diab. I don't think I can pull her up. I know I can pull up my crystal ball, but Minister Diab, I don't think I can. Let me just see. I'm going to go to, bear with me, because I want to bring her in, because she is, okay, I'm just going to switch to, which one is it? I've got too many things going on here. Let's try, I'm just going to switch to this. Just ignore that for a second. That's me and Alicia. And then I need to try to pull Minister Diab right here into, if I can. Oh, I can't. That's really lame. Yeah, I can't move. Oh, just wait. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe I can now. Okay, so if I, she's behind there. Bear with me, you guys. I'm going to try to sort this out. Okay, so if I take this one now. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think I've got her. Let's see. Yes, success. Minister Diab here. Okay, so here we'll stick Minister Diab right up here with me. So the question now is, what are you going to do, Minister Diab, with these, what is it, 50,000, 45, 50,000? Okay, let's slide over here to the web, and we're going to look at this together. So this, if you have not yet looked at this, this is the IRCC Minister's Transition Binder. Okay, so this is Minister Diab. Oh, there she is. She's hiding over here. Let's stick her down here. Let's shrink her down. There we go. Stick her right here. That's probably about appropriate. Okay, so here's Minister Diab here. So this is her transition binder. So basically this gives a direction on where things are going as of May 2025. And so if we go down here and we look at humanitarian and compassionate programs, we can get a little bit of information. So if you haven't gone to this, go check it out, you guys. It's an interesting read. So here's the key service delivery statistics. You can see here, service standard, there's none. So in other words, there's no standard upon which they need, or no speed of service in processing these. So adherence in 2024, 25% H&C, public policies 89%. So that's their focus, all right? Wait time, this is my personal favorite. Okay, do you see what's happened here? Can you imagine this, you guys? 12 to 600 months. What the heck is 600 months? What is 600 months? Okay, let's figure it out. Let's get a little help from our friend here. 600 months to years. This will be fun. Okay, what do you got for us, chat? Do you guys see that? Do you see this? 50 years, okay? So according to their wait times, queue, based on the links, for new applicants, 600 months is what they said. So approximately 50 years to process an H&C. I'd never noticed that before. Oh, and so then their target for admissions was at a high end 13,750. I think that's their target. Let's just double check it here. If we go to the annual levels plans, it's kind of fun just searching around with you guys. Okay, we'll go to this information for 2025 to 2027. So if we go down to our, let's go down to the H&C. Let's see. Yeah, so 10,000. And then on the high end, they have 13,000 as kind of a high end for 2025. And then if we go to 2026 and 2027, if you scroll down here, you'll see that they intend to drop it to 6,000 to 9, but 6,900 is their target, and then 4,300. So that's where they're coming up with this brilliant math that it's going to take 600 months or 50 years. So I don't know what that means, other than they're just basically going to not process. I don't know what else. So that's the question. So Minister Diab, like what's your plan here? Client satisfaction, they don't care. So they don't want to put any information here because they just don't care. And then this is the wait times for new applicants. They do not release anything. So do you see what redacted means? It means that Minister Diab and her department right here, this minister, doesn't want you to know how bad things are for agencies. But understand that there's only one reason that agencies have exploded. Let's look down here a little bit further. So you can see inventory compared to remaining 2025 admissions, current inventory, and you can see here the America, Sudan, Ukraine. Look at all of the Ukraine agencies, 24,400. Man, there's some busy lawyers and consultants out there. Hong Kong, 21,000. Agency in Canada right here. And I guess I probably should qualify this. So these are not, these ones here are not agency by themselves. These are the special measures programs that they have. So like the family reunification and then the Hong Kong PR, that's what these are for. So right now you can see in the queue regular agencies, which I can guarantee are also full of citizens of Ukraine who are applying, but there's about 50,000. And you can see planned admissions March to December, only 1,100. And they say 13% of that inventory to be processed in 2025, 13% of 50,000. Well, you guys can do the math, okay? So you can look at this for each of the different programs to get a fix on where things are at and where they see things going. And it is, it's a challenge, you guys. It really, really is a challenge. So that was a massively long explanation, and I'm going to bring the minister up. She can hang out with me here because this is her department and she's not appearing anywhere else. So I might as well bring her on my channel and she can join me and just smile. And I wish she could kind of wave a bit here, but she can't. Okay, let's continue to the second question. I'm sorry that we are going so slow. Okay. Samir says, hey, Mark, am I able to claim CRS skill transferability points for my outside Canada internship co-op, even though it was a graduation requirement outside Canada degree? Samir, when it's outside, the rules for claiming work while you're studying don't apply. So even if you were going to school full-time, even if it was a part of your educational curriculum, if that employment was paid, okay, you received a wage, you worked full-time at least 30 hours a week or at least 15 hours, it was skilled, tier 3 or higher, then you have the ability to claim that, okay? So many people get confused about that. I also want to say something else here, and I apologize, I've been spending so much time just kind of talking and, okay, minister, you zip away, minister. Oh, you guys have to understand something. Many of you came into Canada on study permits and you were guided by well-meaning or maybe just unscrupulous folks whose sole purpose was to get that study permit approved for you. And just like reports have been, provided through various channels, social media, YouTube, and whatnot, individuals absolutely are being crucified now when they have inconsistencies in their original study permit application. And you know what happens, right? Someone in their infinite wisdom tells you, well, you're applying for a master's in business administration to come to Canada to study. Well, you already have a master's in science. Well, don't say anything about it because you don't want them to feel like you also have another master's and then they'll refuse your study permit, right? Another example is when you're claiming work history and they say, well, don't list that work history that doesn't relate to your studies because your study permit will be refused. Well, now what we're seeing is people are getting procedural fairness letters, they're getting refusals, they're getting allegations of misrepresentation because of those inconsistencies. And in all honesty, the strict interpretation and definition is absolutely misrepresentation. If you are omitting, misrepresentation can occur as a result of commission or omission, actually saying something that's not true or failing to disclose something. That's one of the grounds on the omission side where they find so much misrepresentation for people when they are failing to disclose past visa refusals, right? So these creative people overseas that were helping you to get your study permits, trying to game the system, put information in to increase your chances while leaving stuff out that they don't think will help, is now coming back to haunt all of you. If this is your situation, then you absolutely need to book a consult so we can try to sort it out before you start submitting your applications. But boy, when the procedural fairness letter comes, it is a huge issue because then an officer's already formulated their opinion that you are just not truthful and that they can't trust you. So just be aware of that. Okay, let's see what else we have here. We'll jump to OSI. Let's see. Got to find OSI's comment. Okay, let's see what we can answer, okay? Okay, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program sent an invitation for a pathway I did not apply for and not eligible for. Now this selection has made me miss the tech pathway I applied for. Can AAIP change this selection or do I need a lawyer? OSI, there must have been something in your application that gave them the impression that you were eligible. I'm assuming AOS, right? So the way in which you answered those questions may possibly have opened the door for AOS. And if you are not eligible through, for whatever reason, there's no recourse. Like you can't go back and tell them, hey, I should have been drawn under the tech. You should have drawn me there, not OAS. Or AOS, sorry, AOS. So yeah, there's not much that you can do. Yeah, as far as a lawyer, like I wouldn't be able to help you. And I was involved in giving the government feedback on the whole creation of the portal. I've had, one-on-one meetings with them to talk about challenges with the portal and problems. But they have so many people interested in applying. Yeah, they're just not going to be too interested in hearing. So I recommend if you're not eligible, obviously you indicate that, but you need to take a look at how you answered the questions in your expression of interest. Okay. I'm really sorry about that, OSI. And that's another example of what happens when you have individuals who submit they get an ITA and they're not sure if they're eligible or not. And should they file the EAPR or should they decline the ITA and go back into the pool? This is a very, very important question because you can be tied up with a difficult situation where they're really trying to assess work history, or if you have something that's complex, you can be stuck with your EAPR application in the queue, waiting to be processed, being triaged for further review. And in that meantime, you could have had 2 or 3 other invitations that you could have qualified for. And then you have a birthday, then your work permit's expiring, and then the EAPR is ultimately refused. So that is something, if you're in those kinds of situations, it's important to book a consultation because the reality is you have to very carefully assess where you're at, the likelihood of success, and not waste an effort pursuing an ITA that you've gotten when there's a very significant chance of refusal, and you could potentially be available for another draw. But this is, I deal a lot with this with clients. Okay. Jimmy says, to gain foreign work experience, can I work full-time for a company outside Canada remotely while on a study permit? Additionally, can I work for a Canadian company for up to 24 hours simultaneously? So anything that happens outside of the country, it doesn't impact on what you can do inside. However, when you're saying I'm a full-time student, I'm working 24 hours off campus, and I'm working full-time for a company outside Canada, good luck proving that, Jimmy. Because any officer will reasonably conclude that that's going to be pretty darn hard to accomplish all of that. Because why? Well, there may be 24 hours in the day, but you do need to sleep. So you're going to have a real uphill battle trying to prove that, Jimmy. But, if the circumstances are such and you can clearly lay out in this detailed table, which we do a lot with our clients when we're in similar situations, that lays out everything and you've got all of the evidence rock solid, an officer can't just refuse it because they don't like you. They have to reasonably adjudicate and assess on the merits of your application. Okay. Prashanth says, hi, for the proof of funds, can a non-accompanying spouse transfer funds substantiated with a gift deed? Okay, Prashanth, The short answer is yes, it may be possible. But we got to dig deeper, my friend, because at the end of the day, non-accompanying spouses are still, built within your fund allocation. So when you're demonstrating proof of funds, if you're outside of Canada, you need to explain why that spouse is not coming with you. There's a whole bunch of factors at play, but yes, potentially a gift deed can work. For those of you, if you watch our channel, and I'm sure you have, if you look in the description, you'll see that I have my Canadian Immigration Institute Express Entry, this accelerator program. If I jump down here, right here, you'll see this, and I strongly encourage you guys to subscribe to this. The Express Entry Accelerator includes a masterclass with me that happens every 2 weeks on Wednesdays from 4 to 6, or whenever we finish, depending on the number of people, where I jump in and we talk about specific issues. We drill deep. We answer very specific questions, not like what we can do here. I can't provide legal advice in here, but we can get into a lot more detail in this course. And anyone who's looking to apply for Express Entry, the days are done. I'll be honest, you guys, the days are gone where immigration is going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So in the past, what would happen is if there was something that was kind of borderline, but the officer felt that, you just maybe misinterpreted something, there was a tendency for them to be kinder to you. Well, those days of kindness are gone. And the people that come to me when they've had an ITA, which I'll be honest, you may never get a second chance at an ITA. They come with an ITA that they have applied for. They've taken the ITA and they've submitted their EAPR, and then they've gotten it refused because of some small little technical thing. And sometimes it's big things that they just misinterpreted, eligibility, or there's something pointing to their CRS. But other times it's something really tiny and small and innocuous that you just wouldn't even expect to be an issue, and your application gets returned. So they are merciless. And so yeah, I strongly encourage, if you have not subscribed to the course yet, do it. You have access to all the updates. I'm in the process of creating an update right now for just some of the little tiny nuance things. The course, the substantives of the course have not changed whatsoever. Everything is exactly as it has been, subject to maybe the new category-based draws or something. Or, for example, in here, the job offer points have been stripped away. But the course substantively has not been altered and, or no longer relevant. It is 100% accurate, relevant, and designed to help. And those of you who have subscribed, I don't know if anyone's here who actually is a part of this, the master classes are designed to help. But I've done this for years. This is an old version, but I've had ones that were even older than that. We just switched over to this new platform. You can see all the variations of the Express Entry Accelerator. And this one, although it says 2024, the reality is this has been updated and is 100% current. With that being said, I'm going to modernize it a little bit more. Every couple of years, I redo the course. You can see there's 70 individual lessons that talk about every aspect of the process, determining your eligibility, completing your profile, all the way down to the EAPR. But this course and everything in here is designed to help you avoid the issues. And we even have sample gift deeds and, sample reference letters and everything that you might need. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Okay, good guy says, my eligibility was completed this morning on Tracker, but the background check is still in progress. Is it a good sign? Sure. Sure it is, good guy. Okay, Chifum says, how do I prove to the visa officer that my wife who lives with me and a work permit here in Canada will not be accompanying me to Canada? I've also removed her from my EE profile. Shifum, good luck. How do you prove that your spouse is not accompanying you when she is accompanying you? You're trying to prove something that is already taken place. You're trying to negate something that's already taken place. That's a consult, my friend. All I can do is just ring that little triangle, and we need to chat about it, because you are not doing yourself any good by listing your spouse as non-accompanying in these circumstances. But I've been saying this since the beginning of time. Not just recently where they've been real jerks, even before. So she has to have a reason and be able to demonstrate clearly she's leaving the country. She can't be here and you say that she's non-accompanying. It's just going to open up a whole world of problems for you. Okay, Claire's Fitness says, do all failed asylum claimants get a removal order? If a failed claimant married a Canadian, what are the implications? Okay, so Claire, marrying a Canadian may possibly prevent removal. Okay, but there's a whole bunch of factors that I can't really get into here in a YouTube live stream or wherever you're watching it, LinkedIn, Facebook, or X. So with these, you absolutely recommend you book a consult in that situation because this is complex. But marrying a Canadian, if everything's legitimate, can potentially save that. But there are other factors at play that need to be addressed. Okay, Tron is working as a manufacturing operator, entry level, in a biopharma company. Which companies would be good to get a job through for a work permit so I could hopefully go for full PR? Oh, yeah, I don't do placement for jobs. Manpreet says, do we get 50 points with Cook Level 1 exam? There's no points available for job offers. Indy says, hello and thank you for your information. Okay, and then let's get to here. Okay, Diljith says, I have a judicial review in progress with another lawyer. Otherwise, I would have definitely come to your firm as I have been following you on YouTube for a while now. Thank you for the work that's done. Thanks, Diljith. I appreciate that. Okay, Harpreet's from India. My Canada study visa file done July 11th, 2025. Biometrics already done, but my result is not coming. From India time is 4 weeks. My file is stuck in embassies, or what to do. There's not much you can do other than follow up, Harpreet, with web forms and following up directly to the processing location if you have contact information for them. But understand everything. Like if you look, you say 4 weeks for India. So let's see let's see what the processing times are. Let's shift over here. I'll show you here. Let's see what the processing times are. There's our processing times. Let's see what they are. Because you say 4 weeks. Let's see. And these things are all over the map, you guys. So study permit from outside Canada. And then where are you applying from? Let's jump to India here. And processing times, 4 weeks. Okay, so September the 24th. So these processing times, it's designed to predict how long it may take to process your application. Okay, so understand that these processing times are literally they're just that. They're kind of a guideline. They're not like express entry where the government has a service level standard they're trying to hit. So Harpreet, on the surface, yeah, it's frustrating, but ultimately right now there's not much that you can do other than just follow up. That's it. Okay, let's see here. Prateet says, hi, Mark. I'm combining CEC work 3-month, 2021. Employer hasn't given me a job letter. My email got no reply. I only have a signed contract. No letterhead, T4s, bank proofs. Can I use LOEs? Okay, so let's talk about this, Prateet. So 3-month, 2021 employer. So what's the problem with that, Prateet? Express entry, if you're going through the Canadian Experience class, is only going to be you're only going to be eligible if that 1 year of work experience occurred within the previous 3 years, and it is 2025 right now. So I can see very clearly, even from this standpoint, that you will not be eligible for CEC if you're including that. Really any work experience in 2021. In fact, you can only go back to September of 2022 and still be eligible for CEC. Now, Canadian work experience generally for comprehensive ranking system scores, that's still fine. You can claim, I think it's up to 10 years of, at least points towards CRS. They're eligible for any work that's occurred within the last 10 years. Okay. Let's see. I just want to do a little search here. Oh, here we go. Let's see. I'm just curious. I was looking at what Joe had said. He said they did about the BBC article. Curious what they said. May give an opportunity. Will it seize? Yeah, that's the interview I had was with Nadine. Let's just go fast here. It's unclear how many of them ended up reclaiming Canada, but Mark Cowboysler said some of his clients did move north after failing to get their H-1B visa renewed. These individuals didn't have another alternative. Note, however, that many in Canada are now having trouble obtaining permanent residence. No surprise there, making their future status in the country uncertain. Okay, so maybe that's the extent. Yeah. She gave me a couple little blurbs there. So, and if AOL or whoever gives me trouble for for sharing their their article when it's quoting myself, well, I guess whatever. Media. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, Sky Raval says on X, thanks for connecting in. At least it's going out to X. Can I claim remote work experience for a foreign company? Work done in Canada, paid in foreign account, pay stubs, etc. Kindly advise not asking for concurrent experience. Okay, well, yeah, like if you are working for a company and you can prove everything, you've got all the documentation, it was paid, you can justify everything. There's no restrictions on claiming that as foreign work experience. Work experience for a foreign company can't be claimed as Canadian experience. So it would have to be claimed virtually as foreign work experience for that company, at least based on what you've asked here, Sky. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, Brandon says it didn't help to have Trump go to UN yesterday saying how immigrants are destroying all the Western nations. I'm glad to be a Canadian citizen, how I won't have to live in the US anymore. There you go, my friend. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Yes, wise Mickey, I reckon having French-speaking abilities is the way to Canadian immigration now. Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is. Okay. And Levent, currently as a temporary foreign worker, let's see how French exam will go next year. Absolutely, my friend. Good luck. Good luck. Okay, let's see what else here. Got a little bit of overlap. Okay, Alphonse says, hey, Mark, what should someone who do if they get a refusal for their agency application? Alphonse, you have to go home. When applications are refused, especially agencies, you have to consider that the Canadian dream, at least at this stage, is over, and you need to consider going home. Because what's the alternative, right? Like if you look, guys, if you have, I don't know if you've been following how much you follow. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, go listen to it. But our Time's Up series with our podcast, if I go to Apple Podcast here, you'll see we have done a ton of episodes on what we call our Time's Up series. And so if I go back here, I got to go back quite a ways. See all. When we first started our Time's Up last fall, so we'll go back to last fall. So here's August. Okay, Time's Up series. This is the one that you want to watch right here. So this one is called Time's Up, the High Cost of Staying in Canada Illegally. So I strongly encourage, I was back October 28th. We knew what was coming. And that's why we started these Time's Up series. What to do when your work permit's expiring. The high cost of staying in Canada. Can I change to a visitor status? No extensions for postgrads. Agency applications, what you need to know. When not to claim refugee status. You can see each of these are designed to try to help you guys not be exploited by people who are just trying to take your money. No points for LMIAs, what this means for express entry. Applying for a bridging open work permit. Don't make these costly mistakes. And then we shift to express entry, getting it right. Certificate of qualifications, police clearances, category-based draws, show me the money, settlement funds. You can see new measures to support the construction industry. There's a whole bunch of different episodes here. So I strongly encourage that you take a look at those. And if you have not subscribed, do it. Now, some of these are also available for the most part on our YouTube channel as well. Latif says, do you need to write an English test to apply for PR through PNP non-express entry? It depends on the program. In most cases, the provinces do require language tests. Dakshit says, hi, Mark. Hi from India. Could you please tell if someone needs a PCC from both Canada and India, current country of residence, for Outland CEC application while submitting documents? So Canada is not required because immigration can look it up themselves, but India, yes. If you've lived there for at least 6 months or more within the past 10 years, yeah. Samir says, hello, thanks for doing this. I have one query. Can I claim serious skill transferability points for my outside Canada internship? Okay, we covered that one. Oh, there we go. Yes, thanks, Job. I didn't even see that you had posted that. Yeah, that was the comment. So thanks for doing that, my friend. Okay, let's see what's next. Ryan says, hi, Mark. Is there a possibility for a discount on consultation fees for someone from India? It's super pricey. I'm sorry, Ryan. The reality is the time that we put in for each of these, this isn't just a visit just to collect information from you. These consultations actually provide value, advice, legal advice, direction. Why? Because I send you an intake form to collect the information that you want to tell me in advance so that I can prepare in advance for our meeting. And then once, well, if you go to our firm page here, I'll just shift back here, and you go speak to a lawyer, you'll see our Google reviews are here. Oh, that's weird. It's kind of cut off. Let me see. Does that change anything? Oh, you got to really expand it to get to the amount. Anyway, so you can see we're at about 252 reviews right now. And so these clients are ones that have paid for it. And these are their experiences. Looks like we had one 4 days ago. Let's see what this one says. I'm really grateful for the help I received from Holthe Immigration during my consultation. They were patient, clear, and really took the time to explain everything in a way that made sense. I felt supported and confident after speaking with them. Their guidance was practical and honest, and it made a complicated process feel much more manageable. I truly appreciate their professionalism and care. So there you go. But that's the kind of things that you get when you book a consult. So it's one of those old adages that you get what you pay for. Theoretically, you do. Although I know there's representatives out there, both consultants and lawyers, that charge a whole lot more than we do. But the consultation model is one that we follow, and it is a significant component to what we do. So we don't, the individuals now more than ever, people are retaining us to just help them with their applications, which we love. We love to do that. But if I look at my schedule right now and I see the individuals that are trying to book consultations, it is really intense. So today is a get things done day. I have our staff, our team meeting that we have. I have a number of responsibilities with, as I said at the beginning, I was recently called as a bishop. It's kind of like the pastor, but it's not paid. It's just free. For the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is my church. And I think right here you can see I got my little Christus right there. And then these ones, if you guys are wondering, these ones here, these are my pickleball medals. I just started playing pickleball. So, so these ones, this is the first medal I won. I got bronze with my partner. And then this one over here, that's provincials. So I won gold at provincials for Alberta. And then this one here was a local tournament that was a higher level, a 4-0 tournament that I won gold just on Saturday. So, so behind me is kind of the things I like to do. And over here, this is some antlers because I like to hunt and I like to go looking for sheds. And so those are all some of the things that I like to do. This one right here, you can hardly see. This one means a lot to me. I'm not sure if you guys can see this one, but this one is, oh, I don't know if it'll work. Let's see. Oh, I got to pull it back a little bit here. Maybe you can see this. It says Mark Holthe. It says Canadian Bar. So what does it say? It says Immigration Law Section, Mark Charles Holthe, National Chair, 2020 to 2021. So this is a nice recognition that I received from the Canadian Bar Association for serving as a national chair during that time, right in the midst of the pandemic. So yeah. There we go. Pull it in. Cool, cool. So those are just some of the things that I've got behind me here and that are reflective of what's going on in my life. So I'm hoping that this up here will all be full of full of medals. I'm actually heading down to St. George to play in this Huntsman Seniors Games because I'm an old man. I'm 50 years old now. So while I'm 53, I'll be in 1 week or 7 days or whatever here. So anyways, all right, back on track. So as far as the priciness, yeah, we're really busy, Ryan. And so, yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of set at a price that corresponds to the value. And remember, every Wednesday and all the time we are sharing free information as much as we possibly can. And that's kind of our way of giving back. So we charge for our consultations, we charge for the one-on-one time, but we offer this channel and you can imagine the time. I don't think there's anyone who has put in as much time as our firm has. Like our individual lawyers has put in as much time as we have trying to just share helpful information with people. I'm just going to pull up here my channel here if I can find it. So I'll just shift this over here. So you can see here that we actually have, we're up to 67,000 subscribers. But you can see here, I'll just expand this a little bit. We have over 1,000 videos that we've done. That's like over 1,000 hours. Oh, it's way more than that because some of them were super long, but over 1,000 videos just on the YouTube channel itself. So cool. So cool. And it's an absolute joy to do it. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Okay. Oh, here's one. I've done a ton of these lately. Question regarding spousal sponsorship. Is it possible to bring the spouse on a visitor visa and apply for inland sponsorship? Given the current rejection rate, is it a good idea to apply for TRV? Well, Chino, like overseas, they're refusing everything. There's no harm in applying for a visitor visa. If it's granted a TRV, then absolutely you can come and sponsor your spouse from within Canada. Not a lot of sleep last night. You can sponsor your spouse from within Canada. So if it gets refused, then you basically say, well, hey, I would have spent more time with my spouse, but you guys refused my visa. Yeah. Okay. I love this one. This is my personal favorite. So the startup visa. I recently got to know about the startup visa program. I have the MVP launched and funding. Research says application process takes long. I'm just curious, hoping to hear from a consultant perspective. Okay, well, if you wanted to hear from a consultant perspective, you probably need to go follow a different channel. So I'm an immigration lawyer, and but I can give you my perspective. Okay, and my perspective comes from, once again, the minister's transition binder right here. So let's take a look see if we have economic processing. I'm just trying to see economic immigration. Let's see if there is startup visa information here. I haven't even looked at this, so I'm not even sure. Okay, FSW, CEC, wait time, inventory, CEC, provincial, territorial. Let's see if we've got inventory. I'm just hoping they've got some SUV stuff on here. Let's see. Oh, here's agri-food. Okay, we're getting closer. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's what you need to know about startup visas, okay? So service standard, there's none for startup visas. Okay, service standard adherence in 2024 from what they thought they would do compared to what they actually did, they only did 4%. All the other categories, even caregivers, were kind of low. Wait times, oh my goodness, this is a record. Startup visa, they say, is going to take 420 months. Well, that's one way of killing a program, isn't it? Holy cow, 420 months. Well, what is that? Is that 60 years, 70 years? I don't know. Let's ask a good friend here. We said, what did we say here? 420 months. Convert for 20 months to years. Oh, well, they'll figure it out. Yees, 2 years. Come on, come on. 35 years. Okay, so it's not 600. So 420 months is 35 years. Oh my goodness. So crazy. Okay, anyways, let's so you can see here their 2025 admissions targets is only 12,970. It doesn't show, yeah, I'm just looking here. You can see how many are in wait times for new applicants in months. So you can see it just jumped in Q4 to Q1. They just said, you know what? It's going to take 71 months. We'll just screw it. We're not going to process any. It's going to be 420 months. We'll process like 8 a quarter or they were processing 31, 41, 83, 71. And now, yeah, that's how many months it was supposed to be taking. It's just, I don't know. What do you say? 38,600 startup visa applications are in the inventory. 1,300 admissions year to date. That's in 2025. Inventory to be processed, 2%. They're basically saying, screw all of you. We're not even going to do this. Even the agri-food is horrible. Like, this is disgraceful. 5%. Like, this is important stuff. Caregivers, 34,400. 14%. And this is the economic mobility pathways. This is for refugees coming through the economic programs. So I don't know. What do you say? I don't know. Ma'am, Minister Diab, what do you say? Like, what's your response to people who are asking questions about whether or not they should bring their awesome ideas and their innovation and their skills and their capital and everything to Canada? Are you basically saying, well, we just don't want you? I guess that's probably it. We just don't want you. See you later, Minister. All right, let's see what's next here. So yeah, as far as what's going on here, there's my perspective is it's a waste of time, not even worth pursuing. Let's see what's next here. Abrar says, hey, Mark, I work in a gym and due to less employee count, the gym hasn't registered for tax deductions. Weird. I received checks that deposit in the bank account. Payslips doesn't have deductions. Any issues? Yeah, that is an issue. If you're an employee, they by law have to deduct. If they're not treating you as an employee and are treating you as an independent contractor, then you have an obligation to track your own deductions and remit them as a self-employed person, Abrar. So it's a big issue. I'll just ring the triangle and I recommend you book a consult so we can sort that out. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Joe, great to catch you as always, my friend. It is a solo run today. Abrar says, will I face any issues, by the way, pimping up my score with foreign work experience? Well, no, they tell you to do that. They tell you to take steps, whatever you can, to increase your score, to be more competitive. All right, Bill Nye, good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Do you think the government will use the long processing times as an excuse to mass cancel applications when the Strong Borders Bill passes? Yes. But I'm very curious to see what they're going to do about H&Cs, because those are delicate. They're treated differently. Okay, Yoss says some postgrad applicants inside Canada are receiving refusals for not adding language test results to their application, even though they claim they added it to their client information as instructed. Why? It's a mistake. It's an error. If they have not added them in, it is a 100% error on the side of immigration that you then judicially review. It's just wrong. Okay, it's wrong. Now, I'm assuming the language tests show that they have the level that they need. That could be a factor. Okay. All right. Santosh says, hi, self-employment work experience and related knock outside Canada eligible for directly related work experience points under BCP&P's skilled worker program. I don't know, Santosh. I don't have an answer for that one. I've never had that situation or tried to go through the BCP&P with that type of self-employed work experience. Okay. Karen Veer says, any chance for P&P quota restoration? I don't know. Boy, it's so hard. Mr. Diab, let's bring in the crystal ball and let's balance it on Minister Diab's head. Okay, what do you think? And then we'll just kind of shake her a bit here. Shake this. We'll put her in the crystal ball. That should be sufficient there. Okay, now I'm going to reach over and I'm just going to kind of rub it myself here. I'm going to say next year, no, they're not, because they want people out of the country, and PNPs often will find ways to grant permanent residence to all the people that they want to get out, which are people making less than $30 to $35 an hour in the service industry or otherwise. Ironically, our executives and professionals, I'm still waiting to see when the points, maybe the job offer points, would be restored to express entry for them. Yeah, Spider-Man. I love Mark to be MP and minister. Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? Okay. All right. Paulo says, I honestly want to enroll the express entry full course, but I don't have the funds to do so right now. Could you please run a discount, Mark, please? Or does someone has access that could share? Oh, no, sharing. That is not cool. If anyone shares theirs with the world, I will revoke their access to the course and not return their money. So they don't share. Paulo? I don't like to give discounts because the course itself is loaded with more than you could ever imagine in terms of support, including my own time every 2 weeks, essentially for life, as long as you are applying for express entry. Any upgrades to the course, you have access to it, Paulo. Anytime I change anything, right now my consultations are $300 Canadian for a 25-minute consult. The cost of the course is a little over $400, and the value that's in there, like, good luck finding a consultant or a lawyer to help you provide the value that I provide in that course, and the master classes where I'm there answering your questions anyways, which you probably would never get access to for the, all the firms that just use assistants to do all the work and you don't even talk to the lawyer or the consultant. Yeah, Paulo, that's not something that I'm not going to reduce the fee. No. All right. Oh, the Zoo says, yes, I'm part of it. Lovely tool. Thanks, my friend. I'll give you an applause. Oh, and there's Joe. Yes, the course and everything that comes with it is true and tested. Best bang of my buck for sure. There you go. There's the response. Okay. Thanks, Mark. My app was 100% for TechPath. A friend with similar application with mine applied through AOS, but got Tech Pathway draw last week on Reddit. Lots of people experience same glitch in system. Yeah, I see that happen a lot. And the system is clearly not perfect, but I'm just wondering how the answers were in the actual, in the expression of interest OSI. I'm wondering if maybe people were answering the questions in a way that didn't exclude them from AOS. Okay, Joey Star says, I'm intending to apply for express entry June 2026. Great, you're thinking ahead. Awesome. I have a good French, and I'm not sure if the French program draw will take place at this period of time. Don't worry about it. Just, if you're eligible, put your profile in and then just let it roll. Okay, Raquel says, good morning, Mark. Just wondering if you could discuss here the inclusion of your service for PR application. Your service will start stage and end stage. Thank you very much. Raquel, you can go to our website and you can learn all about how we work with our clients. This is the best thing for you to do. So if you go to our website, you click on About Us, you will see here in the About Us section, if you go to Our Approach right here, it will talk about the direct lawyer to client collaboration. So we don't use anything in between. We're different than everyone else. Well, at least people who have assistants or paralegals or other support staff. We work directly with our clients. We teach you everything that we know. So when the application is prepared and submitted, it is done correct the first time. But it's not right for everybody. It's not the right fit for everyone. So, you're curious and hardworking, you're tech savvy, you share our values, then we might be a good fit. But yeah, as far as the representation, how we work, you can see all of this here. But essentially, we work directly with you. We even submit the application together with you, and that's kind of how it's structured. So I strongly encourage you to book a consult. It always starts with that, and we can talk about it in more detail. We can kind of take a look at your PR application, make sure that you have what you need and that you're ready and prepared in the event you get that magical ITA, right? Okay, Zeus has got some foreign experience claimed from his father's company. Is it okay if he signs my reference letter, or I better have his HR? Zeus, I disclose it all. I disclose it all. I don't hide anything. And ultimately, the documentation that's provided, immigration officers can't just refuse it because they don't like you. Like I said, if it's all legitimate and correct and accurate, then just because you worked for your father's company, if you legitimately had a contract, you have pay slips, pay stubs, and you can demonstrate that you actually worked the hours that you were supposed to work and that you were paid what you were supposed to be paid, then there's no reason for it to be refused. But with family businesses, often those things are not easily established. In other words, you don't receive pay slips or pay stubs. You receive a draw, or you don't receive regular wages, or you're not even expected to be at the firm full time or the business. Okay, so Paulo, no, Zeus and Joe are not going to be sharing their access with you. So that those who have it, no, Paulo, we're not sharing the Express Entry Master. That's great, Zeus. Thank you for doing that. Okay. Samir says, thanks for just my query. It meets all the 3 points you said. A very famous RCIC told me that I couldn't claim the experience because it was part of the graduation requirement. Who's the famous RCIC, Samir? I'd love to hear. Who is it? All right. Yeah, Paulo. Yeah, this is... If you've got some questions, Paulo, list the questions here, and I'm happy to try to answer them. Okay. Student visa to learn French is recommendable. Well, people come to learn English, and it's possible to come and learn French as well. You just have to be able to demonstrate that you're a temporary resident. Nath says, applying for PR through the New Brunswick PNP graduates program that does not require work experience. So do I need to prove to immigration officers that previous experience is not related to current work? Once again, I don't file a lot of New Brunswick PNPs, Nath, so I don't have an answer for you. Hi, Mark. Is there a discount on your fees for filing a PR? No, I don't give a discount for that either, you guys. Okay. Prashant says, for proof of funds, can funds transferred from non-accompanying spouse with a gift deed? Okay, I think we already talked about this. It's possible. It's possible if you do it correctly. And I cover this in my course. We assist our clients with this. It is possible, but you need to be able to explain how it all is together. And I will almost always include that gift deed and affidavit, other stuff. In reality, I will often just, even make sure that you're on the account as a joint account holder, or that's often the quick fix. Okay, let's see here. Actually, like Ryan's asking about fees. Well, like I said, I don't provide discounts for the fees. If we go to our legal fees, you guys can see right here what we charge right on our site. And remember, this is working directly with us. It's no one else. So when you go through here, you can see the list and what we charge. So for Express Entry, I charge $5,000 Canadian. And then because we're here in Alberta, I charge 5% tax for Alberta. Okay, Ruel says, does Alberta still issue the 204C letters? If I get the PNP nomination under AOS, just want to be ahead because AOS might take a while based on what I read. Yeah, it's true. And at times they can issue them. They can. But yeah, there's no rule or guarantee that they will. It just depends. People whose work permits are nearing expiry or getting close to expiring but are still valid when they're issuing the nomination, sometimes they will issue those 204C letters at that time, but there's no guarantee. Okay, Rev Vision says, when's the best time to apply for Express Entry? Right after becoming eligible or after building more work experience or language scores? It all comes down to your comprehensive ranking system score, Rev. if your CRS score is in the range where the rounds of invitations are hitting, there's no room to delay, no reason to delay. If you're still building work experience, then your CRS score is probably too low. And in that case, your profile, you can still submit it, but it will expire after a year if you're not eligible. Okay. Okay, Paulo, this is a great answer here. She said, hi, Mark, how about a discount for the Express Entry Masterclass? Paulo, the Masterclass it's free. It comes with the course. When you pay the $430, whatever the exchange is, when you pay the $430, it's like $349 US, I think, because the software is hosted in the US. When you pay that, you have access to the course for life, all future upgrades. This is like you have Microsoft Office and you never have to pay monthly fees. It's a one-time fee and you have access to all of the updates in the future. Maybe that's something I should change for new people. I don't know. But right now, those who are subscribing have access to the course material for life and any upgrades, and they can come back as often as they want for the master classes at no charge. So that's why I say $440. If you're early in your Express Entry journey, you have access to me for as long as you need. Okay, Abrar says, my payslips have no tax deductions. Would this be okay? I work at a gym, less employee count, so it's not registered for deduction. Yeah, they've got to be. Like we talked about, Abrar, you need to book a consultation right here because the company, unless you're an independent contractor, they have to remit. Yeah, pimping up my score with foreign work experience, possible. Okay. Joe, pickleball pastor, hunter lawyer, what can this guy not do? I will tell you, do you know what the most important thing, you guys, to me, the single most important thing, role is that I have out of all of those is not on your list. And that is husband and father. Those are number 1 and 2. Then if I was to, there's all kinds of things that I love to do. I don't know if I still have my fishing reel back there, but I love to fly fish as well. But yeah, the family is everything to me. Everything that I do is for my family, my children, my wonderful wife, my elderly mother who's turning 80 here in January. 80 on September 29th. We're going to have a nice little surprise party for her. It's her 80th. I don't think she's watching this one. All right. Okay. Doug Sheet says, hey, Mark, could you tell how to get ATIP notes from IRCC for their ITA schedule plan? It doesn't work. You can't get the ATIP notes for their plan for 2026. Yeah, so the ATIP shared by Mandeep is definitely more backward focused. But yeah, those like good for Mandeep. You have to go back to Mandeep, man, because if Mandeep got it, more power to him. Yeah, as far as them releasing exactly what they're going to do and the scheduling, they keep that pretty tight-lipped. Ryan, there are many, he says, I understand and I'm certain you are the best immigration attorney. Thanks. Ryan, understand there are many wonderful lawyers and consultants out there that are so smart and so good at what they do. The only thing that I say I am at the top is that nobody cares more than I do or the lawyers in my firm. So there are other firms and consultants and lawyers may care as much as we do, equally as much, but no one cares more. Okay. Emmanuel says, do you provide review services for a PR application? We were just nominated by the AIP. 100% yes. That is what we spend our time doing. Reed says, if we have really hard time to get visa for my brother-in-law with no kids, yeah, it's not easy. It is not easy to get those. CEU says, the best immigration show for Canada. Thanks so much. That means a lot. Prashant says, for proof of funds, can funds transfer from non-accompanying spouse with a gift deed? Okay, yeah, we've talked about that, Prashant. You can if you do it correct. Caleb says, what do you think of Master Ontario Stream nominations? Is there a chance? Wow, it is just crazy right now. Like there's so few spots. We'll have to see in the end of October, beginning of November, when the new levels plans are announced, if they're going to give the provinces more. That's really what's driving the delays in these programs, like the Masters, stream in Ontario from issuing more nominations. Cowinder says the studies for what I'm not claiming points for, do I need to submit documents for them? No. If you have listed them in your study history section, then I have a tendency to include those documents. But if you've never obtained an ECA for them and you're not claiming points, often I don't include that, but I absolutely do in the personal history if it's within the previous 10 years. Roxy, hello. Thanks for connecting in. Okay, Zeus says, we got an ITA a few days after we gave birth to a baby. We do not need to include her as she's a citizen. However, how do we go around the government ID form in the application? You have to provide whatever information you have. It also depends on how you've answered the questions indicating that they're a Canadian citizen. You still want to go and get the birth certificate. You want to get the documentation that you can, a passport or whatever it may be. But letters of explanation can resolve that if you explain it properly, Zeus. Okay. CE user, French is not a guarantee for staying in Canada. No, it is not. It is definitely not a guarantee, but oh my goodness, does it boost your chances? Delali says, I'm a barber working in Ghana and Canada has been my biggest dream from my childhood to work there. Please, how can I get an offer? It's tough, my friend. It's tough. I don't have a solution. I don't match employers with employees, so I'm sorry. This happened to a teacher from France who was placed in deportation proceedings. Okay, there's more history to that CE user. Way more. They don't just deport people. There was something wrong with what happened. Okay, JST, TJS. I actually left Canada back at the end of 2023 to my home country since my job was trash and I felt like I could do more back home business-wise and my goal was to learn French. I'm at a B1 right now. More power to you, my friend. Good for you, TJS. Okay, Roxy says I applied for, let's shift over here to Roxy. I applied for HNC in Montreal and submitted in June. I received an email last week stating that the application would be returned because an outdated form was used. What does this mean? It means that you used a form that was outdated. The forms have to be the most current form, and this is what they do all the time. They will return application as being incomplete because you haven't used the proper form. Okay, Zacharias says, the self-employed program is not in consideration of the IRCC. I've submitted my application since May 2023 until now without response and the process time just for more delays, 61 months. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Okay. Okay, Calgary. I got an Alberta Advantage Immigration Program invitation under Tech Pathway. Okay. Which education is the highest? Canadian diploma or secondary school diploma and diploma 2 years by ECA report. They are awarded the same points in EE. It's the highest one that you include is the one that you've done in Canada. It's messy, but that's how you treat it. Okay, looks like Marco here's got a super chat. Mark, what are your thoughts on countries like the US selling citizenship via charging a fee 5 million gold card? Should Canada do similar? Well, like Portugal does that. They had their golden visa. I don't have problems. I have zero problems with countries selling citizenship when people are investing millions of dollars. As long as those individuals are not crooked, they're not, security risks or things like that. That money can then be taken and used to bolster the immigration programs, to hire more officers, to feed into the various social systems that the government may have. And so I don't have a problem with it. I don't. And I know it's more complex than that, but that's just off the cuff. Do you have any idea why PNP non-express entry AORs are delayed? Because they don't have them to issue. And there's Andy. Hello, Andy, and an awesome consultant out there in Ottawa. TJS says, once we shall be to French proficiency, do you think we'll get the PR invite right away? My score is 476 in Canadian experience class. I remember the score for French being super low. Yeah, it's entirely possible, TJS. You have to, as long as you structure things properly, you've got a shot at it. If we look at the rounds of invitations that just occurred fairly recently, let's see if I can find the rounds of invitations. Maybe I can't. I just had them. Let's see here. Slide this over here. TJS, if you look here, you'll see that if we look at the previous rounds, The most recent French one that happened right here on September 4th was 446. So if you are above that or in that range, you do have absolutely a good opportunity. And when the French draws happen, that includes FSW. So if you're no longer eligible for CEC because you've been out of the country too long, FSW is still eligible for French. Okay. Zeus says we have the birth certificates, but it doesn't have expiry dates, which is what is being asked in the app. It seems we have to get her Canadian passport, I suppose. Yeah, I would do that. There is a national ID section as well that you could include. See, I missed hearing the radio DJ quality voice of Alicia. Great. Me too. I miss her too. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? Yeah, I don't have any real suggestions, Zakaria, on this. It's the self-employed federal program is just a mess. So, all right, guys, we are going to wrap it up there. I am going to turn on my wrap-up music. Let that play in the background a little bit. But thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Those of you who are looking for a little extra help, we're here to help. So just let me know. You can easily do it by going over to our website. In the description of all of these videos, you guys, is the actual link where you can go to book a consult. Everything starts with a consult, okay? And if you book the consult and you slide over to our website right here, then all you have to do, so this is what you'll see when you click on the link, it'll take you right here, speak to a lawyer, and then, it's as simple as booking a consult. I'm sure this week is probably full for me. Oh no, I still have spots on Friday. Oh, I've got one left on Friday. Thursday's chock full, and today is chock full. It is a busy time. Even Monday. Oh, that's the day I blocked off for my mother's birthday. So, right back on the 30th. So we're all here. And if I'm not available, if we jump back here a couple, let's see here. If we go back to Igor, he's back in the house now. Okay, so Igor's got a little bit more time. Yeah, he's got lots of spots. Yeah, that's good. Igor's got lots of spots available. And that's how we do it. We make sure that there's always someone who is able to help. Always. All right, let's go to Alicia. And then Alicia's away, so she won't have any spots available for the rest of the month because she's on holidays. So there you go, guys. That is it. Thanks, TJS. Thank you so much for these answers, man. For those two questions, I would have had to spend a couple $100. It's true. So, and thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll sign off with this one.
Borders fade as hope ignites, a new dawn rising in the endless night. Together we climb, hand in hand we stand. You're home now in this welcoming land. Welcome to the